finding a new place in a new country does feel like a gamble. And that's the case for many international students coming to Australia. Before even stepping in Australia, students are overwhelmed with shady listings and overpriced rentals and the constant fear of scams. And especially being an international student, I have been there, and I feel there are a lot of good accommodation places, good accommodation websites that does guide you well.
Yeah.
But there are still trust issues, and also finding a new roommate, that's also a big struggle.
Oh yeah.
So that's where ReKro comes into picture. So welcome to the third video of the series 100 Days, 100 Brands, 100 Stories. There are thousands of brilliant brands out there constantly changing the world, and this is one of them. Today we're going to learn about a humble brand led by an inspiring man and his inspiring story. So I'm here with Reuben. He is the founder of the brand ReKro. So Reuben, before I give the mic to you, sorry, you already have the mic, but before I give the mic to you, I would like to introduce him a bit.
Okay.
So born in Mumbai, he was raised in Kerala, in his hometown in India. He pursued his bachelor's and later his master's in architecture at UNSW Sydney. He moved to Australia in the year 2019 and worked with one of the biggest architecture firms in Australia. And in 2024, he successfully graduated Australia's first year-long incubator program startup here at UNSW Founders, where he started his entrepreneurship journey that we know today is ReKro. So currently, Reuben definitely is the founder of ReKro, as you already know, and he's also teaching entrepreneurship to the next generation of founders, building the inspiring leaders of the next generation. So Reuben, now the platform is yours.
Thank you.
So please tell us about your brand.
So, for those of you who don't know us, ReKro is a purpose-built platform that helps connect students to accommodation. So it's, and we've touched on this and spoke about this quite a bit, Param, but the single most scariest thing when you're moving overseas to do your master's or your undergrad to study is to find accommodation, because it's an equal if not bigger commitment to your education based on who you share the space with outside your academic hours. I was in that space for the longest time and realized that as an architect, I wanted to build spaces that brought people together, but also facilitate people along that journey as much as possible. But that's what we do.
That's beautiful. That's like really relatable, because being an international student, that's the biggest struggle.
Yeah.
That's the biggest struggle. Okay, so I was intrigued by this name, ReKro. What does it mean? Can you decode that for me?
So it's just, ReKro is like Reddit, like Spotify.
Okay.
It means nothing.
Okay.
But where it came from was, I've been doing what ReKro does since 2019, pretty altruistically.
6 years.
And back then, ReKro was my Instagram handle.
Oh, nice.
So it just meant nothing, but a lot of people that came into our community today came through altruistic efforts of people picking people up from the airport, finding accommodation for them, finding jobs, SIM cards, bank accounts, and all of that, which was what ReKro did for pretty much all through 2019 to 2024. And when I decided that I needed to name the brand something, I went through all of the other names out there, but one golden rule of starting something new is that if you give it a name that means nothing, one, it can evolve into anything, and two, it's really great search engine optimization. So today, if you go and look up ReKro, the first 10 things on Google is us, because there's nothing called ReKro out there. But if I would have had, say, named it Ally or Find a House or something, we'd be competing with a gazillion things out there. So yeah, it means nothing and it'll take shape to whatever it means.
To sort of create your own SEO platform.
Yeah.
That's good, actually. That's a very unique idea, and anyone can you have to think in that lines, that how can you make a unique name to it and uniqueness to it. So that's
We've had fun connotations to it though, like people trying to figure out what it means. At one point, because we were connecting peers and roommates, people went along the direction of reconnect plus chronos. So
Oh.
time to reconnect, so ReKro. We were working with a lot of Indian international students, and when we started moving into the rent place, people were like, oh, rent karo, ReKro.
Oh, right,
So
right.
none of them are official breakdowns of what it means, but it is what it is.
Got it. Nice. Okay. Thanks for sharing that.
That's
So, what is the branding ethos of ReKro? I saw your website. Could you just tell us how it looks like for ReKro?
so the single most thing that I wanted in our personal brand in the company is that we wanted it to be relatable for anybody who is coming. We wanted faces to it. My face is out there for ReKro everywhere, but also if you go to the website, if you go through a platform, you can see that it's human first, student first, because anything that we do is aiming to facilitate to make a student's life as easy as possible. So we build relationships even with our team, within our team, because it's comprised of faces that you will see, and most of them are students currently looking for houses who I've helped and then have joined the team.
Wow.
So if you look at the platform and see everybody's faces, it's like happy people working together, trying to build something for the next generation of people. So yes, it's a very non-real estate like real estate platform.
So basically, the customers became the team.
Yeah.
That's so inspiring. Nice. So, starting ReKro wasn't an overnight decision,
Yes.
as you told, like your journey and all. So, what was that moment or experience that made you say we need to build this?
So you've touched upon something really, really hard. So when I started ReKro, the first 8 or 9 months, it was just me dancing alone. And when you dance alone, you look crazy. But I think once ReKro picked up, people came together and it looked like a party, because now it looks like a party. But that didn't happen, like you said, overnight. ReKro started off as a platform that was meant for transition, as a consultancy. So I came back to UNSW having worked in architecture for close to 4 to 5 years, and I was like, okay, I want to do the social impact that I'm doing at scale. I want to help more people and probably make money so that it's sustainable as much as possible.
Right.
So that in the early days was just picking people up from the airport, helping them select SIM cards, bank accounts, and figuring out how to scale it. That went from, when I started doing that, I realized a lot of the people that were coming to me, their problem was not knowing which SIM card, not knowing which bank account. It was not having a point of contact in the country. So if they knew one person in the country, most of these problems would just go away. And then I started building the next bit, which was the peer matching bit we built, which was helping people find other people who were point of contacts in the country. So you could find people in your university studying what you were doing, and that sort of gave us more traction with people. With more people coming in, we soon realized that people using that more or less were using it to find their first roommate, because they were moving to a country, didn't know anybody, and they wanted to find somebody to share a room with them. We listened what they said, and then we heard to the next bit, okay, what can we then do? Which meant that the problem space was the exact same thing, but we listened to what people said and kept iterating. So we've iterated multiple times, and the current iteration is we went and asked those people, okay, what's like the most painful thing for you to do? Or we found each other, we have roommates, we found this WhatsApp group full of people who are looking for accommodation, but all of us are applying like crazy and none of us can find a place to stay, which meant that our student peer matching platform then turned towards solving their problem, which was the biggest problem, which was accommodation.
Yeah.
And what we did with that is we went out there, we started cleaning up all of the listings that you see on, say, Facebook, WhatsApp, wherever, and we started creating a reliable sort of data bank of landlords. and we inspected each one of those properties to ensure that none of them were scams and they were filtered, which means and that's in the problem space um, layers, right? It's not that there aren't good properties available, it's not that there aren't good tenants, it's that a huge portion of both these markets of landlords, properties, and renters are filled with people who are looking to take advantage of the other person. And
Right.
that generates a lot of mistrust between both of them. What we do is we go and find the good people on either end and we connect them. And in that process, a student on an average who comes through us and doesn't go through a purpose-built student accommodation because they don't know a single person, saves close to 35 to 40%. So if you're paying $700, $800 for a single room in a purpose-built student accommodation, which is really good if like you don't know anybody and you want like instant like comfort, you'd get the same one bedroom apartment for the same price through ReKro at the same time with the same process. So what we are trying to normalize is become the Airbnb for long-term rentals. So you can book a place on the platform by having a very detailed inspection and locking it in, as opposed to waiting 3 or 4 months, sending in countless applications and trying to process it with either one person or an agency.
So this entire housing rental ecosystem was like disorganized and sort of like not
Yeah, it's
majorly,
more
but
the informal. It more so is the. I wouldn't say it's disorganized. I think it's purposefully organized how it is.
okay.
Just because there's the vacancies as the rental vacancy is at an all-time low, so they don't have the problem. The tenants have the problem.
Right. Okay.
And it's what we do is we even up the game for both. So we give landlords really high quality tenants, and we give, because most students are looking for stability. Like I would happily, if I'm moving for my master's, I would happily stay on my bachelor's. I would happily stay at a place for 2 years right next to my university if the landlord's good, the property is great, and the people I'm staying with are good. Like I would stay my whole like degree there.
Right.
That's great for you, that's great for the landlord, that's great for everybody. Who it isn't great for is everybody in between, and we try and remove and clean up that.
Right. And how do you like what do we say, you consider people as like good quality people? Like you said, you give them quality tenants, so how do you figure that out, like who is like good tenant or like not?
So to join ReKro, you need a university email address. So
Okay.
it's not every single person on the platform is vetted based on their university email, getting in with your university offer letter and contract.
Okay.
This gives us a sort of this gives everybody peace of mind. One, we as a student, when you're moving in, you're really terrified who you're going to stay with. If they've done shady shit, if they're sort of not compatible, if they're not students, which is a huge thing. Like you want to move in with people who are potentially studying the same university you are, and it's amazing if they're studying what you're studying. So what ReKro does is social driven accommodation. So when you're looking at a property, you can see other students who are interested in the property. You can go to their profile and you can see what are they studying, what's their age, what sort of lease period are they looking at. And then the biggest bet is we let you part apply to a property. So if you don't know a single person in the country, you don't have the budget for a 3-bedroom apartment, but you do have the budget for a 1-bedroom in a 3-bedroom apartment, you can go and reserve that on the platform.
Right.
As soon as what we do is we build the market that 3 people reserve it. When 3 people reserve it, we give up the 3-bedroom apartment to the landlord, and that's
Okay.
how we
Match.
match the whole process. And it's super convenient because you can completely rely the person that you see on the platform who's reserved a place, because one, they're a student, two, they have tenancy intentions, which means that they're not just somebody who has a little bit of money who's gonna come into the place. They're gonna sign a tenancy agreement with you,
Right.
which means they're legally bound to the place, which means the quality of the person by default is high.
Exactly. And they also pay the bond and all those things.
Exactly. So we
right.
facilitate in the early days. Right now that we are doing, we facilitate everything. Because we've been through the process and we know how difficult it is, and we are trying to change the space completely to make it super easy and trustworthy at the same time. So you're not just like living in boarding houses throughout your degree. You're living in an actual rented, tenanted place.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that, Reuben.
Okay.
So we all know that the first year is a wild ride. Like,
Yeah.
you have a lot of things going on in the first year, and it's like a roller coaster ride for
Yes.
everyone. So for you, what was the biggest lesson or most unexpected challenge you come across in the first year as you're starting,
Yeah.
and how did you overcome it?
First year of ReKro?
Yes.
Okay. I think a huge thing that I've learned is consistency.
Okay.
Like, there's gonna be bad days. There's gonna be ridiculously low days in a startup. Sometimes it can feel that you're gonna get advice that is really good. Sometimes you're gonna get advice that's really bad. There's a lot of demotivating things that's gonna happen. Like, people are gonna tell that you're pretend playing. People are gonna tell that, do you even know what you're doing? A lot of people are even gonna say that that this is too early. Like, give it a few 10 years, go work a little bit more before you start something. But ultimately, in a startup, you gotta trust your gut a lot. It's gonna look very different from what you dream, but if you're really, really committed and you love the problem space, which is what I even tell my students, like, at least for your first startup, money is not the driver, intention is the driver. For me, I really, really love the international student space because, one, I understand it. Two, I was in the space. I've been in uni in and out for 7-8 years of my life, being a teacher, studying. So for me, changing the problem space throughout the first year wasn't difficult, because I was always tied to, like, this, I will solve this problem one way or the other. What did really help is, so I'm married. My wife, who I met doing what ReKro does, who I picked up from the airport, found a place, she came with 7 others, like, did all of that. Early days of ReKro, when ReKro wasn't ReKro.
Nice.
She's super supportive in the whole process. So I'm one of the few people probably in the world who's never really worried about at least running out of cash when doing it. Because, one, I barely spend any cash, so I don't burn cash, and two, I've got a safety net to fall back on. Where we sort of are in the same understanding that we'll give this a while, we'll figure out how we go, and we're doing this for a good cause. So when you try and do good things, people sort of rally up behind you, and that's the whole team. That's the whole team at ReKro. I absolutely love everybody in the team to death. It's like this close to falling for people in the team, because they're that lovely people who are purely doing it out of intent. Like,
And these are the customers before, right? Who
these
turned
were people
into
who called me at Friday. Like, my head of tech, he actually worked in Baywalk, so they're really smart people. I gotta say, they're all smarter than me, probably. He called me at 11 o'clock one Friday night, saying that he's gonna be kicked out of his room like 2 days later, and he had no clue how to do a tenancy application or even find a place. So then I'd come back from office and I was about to sleep, and then my wife was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I really need to, like, talk to him," because, like, I'd met him at an event or something. And then we jumped on a call, did his tenancy application, and months later, once everything, like, sort of settled down, he was like, "I really want to do, like, help other people do what you do," and now we're like the thickest of friends. So, like, I've got that sort of relationship with each person in the team because we all know what we are trying to do, and it's just, you need that community when you're starting a startup that's as an immigrant founder, because you have no networks, you have no systems, so you only have trust, respect, and community. You build that like step by step with people, and things hopefully work out.
And the people who believe in you, they sort of come together. So
Yes, we do potlucks a lot. So if you look
Nice.
at our website, a lot of the photo and like if you're in a newsletter, a lot of the photography is just the team coming together in my home, and we just cook and bring together things. And once a month, we celebrate a lot. We celebrate the highs, we celebrate the lows, but we always celebrate it together. So that's one thing I really like about the journey. Like in the beginning, it was just like me doing this and then going in day in, day out. Now, since we've like grown a little bit, it's a lot more like we're still like building family. So that's pretty crucial if you want to like play for the long run.
the people see what you see, and that's more important. Yeah. And you also mentioned that you also found your wife through ReKro. That's so inspiring, and
Yeah.
specifically.
I mean, I wouldn't say through ReKro. Don't come there. To
No,
like
as in
date people.
no, but as in I guess she's the biggest supporter of you throughout the journey, and
Yeah, like we both studied architecture together. We both worked in one of the biggest architecture firms in Australia. She still is there, but how she found me on LinkedIn when she was trying to find a place, trying to find somebody in Australia. So her first point of contact.
right.
She said she'd reached out to like I don't know, a lot of people. I remember I was doing Uber deliveries back then, like when I was an international student, and then I jumped on a call because I couldn't like text, and then we spoke through. We were very good friends for the longest time. She came with 7 other people. They were one of ReKro's earliest sort of like that. That wasn't ReKro being ReKro. That was just me helping them find a place. I eventually moved in with them, and then it was like a 7 people household. But yeah, fun days.
So thanks for sharing that, Reuben. Then my next question: in a market full of options where there are like good competitors, uh, how do you think what do you think makes ReKro different?
Yeah. So ReKro's probably not probably, it's definitely not the first trying to solve this problem. International students always have found it difficult to find spaces, so there are always going to be brokers, there's always going to be people that you find on Facebook, or say potentially even like other platforms where you're informally trying to get a place. Our biggest differentiator is we are the first doing it on a student-centric perspective. We are the first who really double down on tenancy applications as opposed to just putting you in a place and taking money from you. So we could be making shit tons of money if we just like buy a building and then fill it up with beds and then just sell the beds to students, which is what 90% of people out there do. But what we really want to do is make sure that when you move out of a ReKro property, you have tenancy history, you have a tenancy contract, you have a community because you're moving in with friends that you met through the platform who are legit from your university, which means the next place potentially pulls you back to come back to ReKro to find another platform, to find another place to stay. Whereas if you look at the lease break rates of any of the other places, it's usually that you'd get in a place, you'd sign in a year contract or so, and then you feel trapped, and then you break the lease in 3 or 4 months, and then you do what ReKro does, you find a tenancy place and then you stay there.
Right.
So it's a game changer when it comes to finding a place and actually having a tenancy contract under your name without the middle person. So we don't really stand in between you, and if you're really good and you click with the landlord, you potentially never need us ever again. That's probably not good for business, but definitely good for social impact. Obviously we're building around the space on like other products and services that keep you with us, but our goal is always to make sure that a student finds something exceptionally good and is able to get a sustainable lifestyle and never have to worry about accommodation when they're studying, which nobody should. They should be focused on like going ahead in their careers, probably getting their permanent residence. I don't know. Yeah.
But I think that's the biggest value. Like you prioritize and put the customers first, not just take money from them.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned this point about community building. I think that's something very unique
Yeah.
because students do need similar mind like peoples who they can connect with in the beginning because they have no one in the country.
Exactly.
So that's very true and it's pretty unique.
And that just comes from iteration. Like we were doing peer matching before, we just introduced peer matching into accommodation. That is now roommate matching.
Okay.
Because one, you can find that you can still, if you download the app and sort of use it, you can still find other people on the platform and never find a room, and we're okay with it. But potentially what's even great is you find the people, you find what properties they are looking at, and almost every property is exclusive to the platform. You can see other people who are interested in the property that you're interested in, and you can reserve a room, any room of your choice in the property, none of which exists right now. Like you can, when's the last time you submitted a 1-bedroom tenancy application? Like you can't. We pretty much let you do that, as opposed to just subletting off a couple that has like 1 bedroom in their apartment.
Okay. So you also mentioned about peer matching.
Yeah.
So are you saying that it's sort of a Bumble cum accommodation sort of platform?
I hope not. But we really try to not look like a dating platform. But it's more so that people can find other people in the university.
True.
Like my wife definitely wasn't looking for someone to date when she was looking for people, right? That's why people go to LinkedIn right now, because you show that you're reaching out professionally, and your intentions is not to date. Your intentions is just, I need a genuine person in the country to just ask shit tons of questions.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, how do I enroll in my university, or how do I get an Opal card? Like, that's a very specific kind. You don't get that on Bumble. Like you can't go on Bumble and swipe and like, hey, can you talk to me about the Mikey or the Opal system? And they'd be like, fuck you.
But actually, LinkedIn is a good, very crazy platform because that's how I met someone from India when I was back in India, researching who is doing my current degree, and I found someone. I'm not saying his name, but. He helped me a lot. A lot of questions I had in mind.
Most of the students who reach out to me usually reach out on LinkedIn. And I'm not saying that ReKro is a substitute or anything. Like, if anything, it's just probably will drive people to go and connect on LinkedIn. But what we do is, so our core purpose of connection is accommodation. So if you find anybody potentially on, say, LinkedIn, what's the next steps that you got to do? Like, if you both want to together find a place, then go and download ReKro. Both of you create an app, both of you create an account, and then just apply to a property, like reserve whichever room you like. We just clean out everything in between, and it's potentially a little bit of difficulty early on, and that coordination bit where I don't know if he submitted or she submitted this document or that document, we clean up all of that. So like, if one person creates their tenant profile once on the platform, they can apply to any property in the platform. So which means we take out all of that repetition, like that currently people have to go to multiple platforms to apply for multiple properties, and each time they have to create a different profile, have their own sets of documents and everything. When's the last time you did that for Airbnb? Like, you created your Airbnb profile gazillion years ago and you just book an account. It's already got everything in there, and you reserve the place, the landlord likes it, and you take it. That's Airbnb. Why can't long-term tenancy be that simple? That's what we really want to do.
Nice. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. There are, in fact, many international students coming to Australia. Like, have been coming and will be coming years as well, right? So, and with these big names, as I said, are out there, most people have got their accommodation that they get from word of mouth, right? That a lot of students are going and they tell that this is a good accommodation website, so you can go into that, and because people trust people, and based on their experience, they take the feedback and take it. So how do you aim to attract those students towards ReKro, and how will you instill the factor of trust amongst them,
Yeah.
who have the biggest trust issues when
Yeah.
they are the first to come in the country?
Yeah. So we've got really strong educational consultant partnerships,
Okay.
and we've got really strong student community supports. So the two things that you mentioned are pretty much the two things that we do. So every student that's currently sort of like testing out our services is a referral student. Every student that's finding us is finding us because they've got an offer letter, um, and the first student that they speak to usually has spoken to somebody, and they've found us. So very similar platforms. We reach out to students on like pretty much everywhere, but my core sort of belief is if you do something really, really valuable and good, and it's obviously the best choice, people usually come to you. And like I said, vacancies are at an all-time rate. So for landlords, students aren't the problem. That like not having enough students has never been a problem.
Right.
When the alternative to getting a tenancy application is really, really bad, like being scammed or I don't know, paying a lot of money for something that you didn't sign up for. Uh, Usually, if you do something good, word will spread around really fast. So, yeah. If you're somebody who's watching this and you think that you want an accommodation, reach out to him. He'll reach out to me.
Definitely, I'll mention all the links
Yeah.
and everything. So thanks for sharing that, Reuben. And so let me ask this in a different manner.
Yeah.
So if you were a target audience and
Yeah.
not the founder,
Yeah.
like if you were someone else who didn't build this platform or brand, so what would attract you towards this brand, number one, and like why would you be interested to buy their services?
Yeah. So if I think my understanding the question is if I was an international student,
Yes.
and what would attract me to ReKro?
Yeah.
Comfort and familiarity. Like I don't know off the top of my head any other like accommodation platform that has as many student faces, like real student faces in there, as ReKro. Like every single person who's like currently like building this platform, including me, are either a student on campus studying or like is working with students on a day-to-day basis in Australia. So comfort and familiarity. You'd be able to speak to somebody and they'd potentially be studying in the same university you are, if not like studying what you're studying. The other reason that I would select what I do is community. Like none of it's community centric.
Yeah.
Finding accommodation is a very, very lonely process right now. You go and you convince somebody you've never ever met, who doesn't look like you, who doesn't speak the way you do, who doesn't communicate or understand what your unique situation is, like who doesn't know what a COE is, like how do you convince somebody that you don't have rental history, you've never been in the country, but you will be a really good tenant and you have money to pay for rent? Like it's pretty much impossible. Whereas we know exactly like how many hurdles a student has to pass to just be here today. We just use like all of the stuff that you've jumped through. So your visa documentation, for instance, and then build a really good and use that with our relationships with landlords and people who own properties, and build a really good strong case for you so that you're fighting at an equal ground. And that's one of the reasons that I'd obviously choose what I like that's one of the reasons we're building, so that people shouldn't be at a disadvantage when their only disadvantage is that they are not a local student.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's very important that during the process when you are trying to come to Australia, there are a lot of things you're doing already,
Yeah.
like the visa and the COE and all those documentation, because I remember my time as well. And alongside, you have to also sort the accommodation and documentation, the documentation for the accommodation, which is
Yeah.
also a lengthy process.
Yeah.
And I've seen that through these websites. I'm not naming any, but the images that you see there, they are, I think they're made out of AI, I'm not sure. That has been my experience.
Yeah.
And when you actually go for an inspection to the
When you see the
property,
place, it looks
it's a
very
it's a very different property. So that's how that increases your trust factor, as in decreases your trust factor. Sorry,
it breaks
my
it.
bad.
There is no trust at all in that process.
Exactly. And why will you ever tell your friend that go through
that
such a
platform.
and it's not that all the listings are like that on the
It's just
platform.
some of
There's
them.
some of them which a student is basically attracted to, because those are like the cheaper ones, or those
Yeah.
are like with
That's
the
the
nearest to
affordable
the
ones
station.
most
Yeah,
of the
affordable ones, right? So but that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And
So-
if you're trying to solve that, it's a
Yeah.
it's a bigger solution. Yeah.
Every single property that's currently listed, either I or somebody in my team has personally seen it, and we are the ones who document it. So we do believe that everybody, despite good intentions, tries to sell, and there's nothing wrong in it. But we also believe in the ethics of, like, if you're going to going to a place that you have to stay, it should look, and you're like taking that property without ever seeing it, that you should uh, be transparent in that process. Like, why do you not inspect an Airbnb property? Because you have complete trust in the process that what's seen is what you will get. And that's exactly what we want to replicate. Like, we'll give you a detailed property inspection, including a video inspection, 360 photos, all of the whole shabam for every property in the platform. And it would have been seen by us before we like even recommend or put it out there saying that go here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Then, so now as we have known a lot about ReKro, what it's trying to solve, and how community driven it is. So, how do you see the bigger picture for ReKro when you imagine the future? What impact do you want to what do you want the brand to create in terms of for its customers, for the industry, or beyond? Like, if you can
So
share that.
our mission is pretty simple, that every student, regardless of whether they're domestic, international, or like whatever, even if there's somebody who's moving from, say, Melbourne to Sydney and they don't know a single person here, or even if they do, shouldn't struggle with a tenancy application. Our big picture is that the whole tenancy application process is focused on, like, when people start living as opposed to when people start looking. Like, if hopefully once it's widely adopted, long tenancy inspection lines wouldn't be a thing anymore, because if you have complete trust in the system, you just book, go, stay, finish your tenancy application. When it's about to finish, book another place, move, stay. It should be that straightforward. If an Airbnb is that straightforward, why can't we be that? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Reuben.
Okay.
And lastly, I ask this to every founder I meet. This question is that what's that one thing that people don't see being a founder in the space? That's part one. And part two is that what would you say to those people who are like the next generation of founders who are building a brand or thinking or wanting to build a brand?
Yeah. Ooh. I think the first question, one of the invisible things in being a founder is, at most times you look at and you hear the success stories. Nobody glorifies an unsuccessful founder, but do know when you're working that most if not all founders go through a ridiculous amount of rejection before they figure out, one, how to say sustainable and how to like actually build, and two, just people trusting them and putting their money where their mouth is. Till that point, and I'm not, this is the same for ReKro as well, till the point where you see people garnering interest behind what you're doing, is the point till which it's going to be difficult. The moment you stop, your startup will stop as well. So all you have to do is keep going, like literally. And at some point or the other, like I said, you're dancing alone, at some point or the other it will become a party because people will start dancing with you. So that's the sort of like invisible things of being a founder. Like the dancing alone bit is really really difficult because you're just trying to do marketing, branding, product market fit, trying to figure out what the problem is. And especially as a new founder, because this is, nobody ever taught you how to be a founder. I don't come from a business family. I had zero entrepreneurial skills when like all of this began. But the one thing that I really wanted to do is like do social impact and make sure that people get people love what we do. The next question that you asked is, if I were to tell like a new upcoming founder in this space, be really smart with money. Like, don't think throwing money will solve your problems. The only reason ReKro has been able to do what it's do sustainably is because we've not burnt cash anywhere. I'm not saying burning cash doesn't solve problems. It's just burn cash where it's required. The one thing that will keep you afloat is always see if you can provide monetary value to people around you and yourself by doing other things while you're building till what you're building can support you. It might sound good to be a founder in an office space doing a lot of things, but how long can you do it? Work, do a full-time job, do a part-time job, and build alongside. Just never stop building. That consistency is what will get you where you want to be, and not the I'm in my friend's garage for 6 months trying to build this. Maybe, but how many people were actually in the garage without any financial backup trying to build? Not a lot. So yeah, if you're a founder, if you're thinking about building something, thinking getting into the entrepreneurship world, know it's a scary space, but know that if I can do it, anyone can do it. Like, and just because you're an immigrant student, just because you're an immigrant doesn't mean that you're on a different playing field. It's literally that you potentially have more grit and skills because you built your life from scratch once. If you can do that, you can do pretty much anything.
It takes a big heart of like what you're doing, Reuben, and especially like I cannot wait to see how ReKro grows and builds that community. And I really wish I was a part of ReKro.
Thank you.
So I'm not saying that you're going to hire me or not, but thanks for sharing those stories, those journeys, and that were really beautiful to hear. So follow ReKro and witness the story they are creating. Thank you so much.